यशोदानन्दन प्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दन प्रजजन रञ्जन यमुनतीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि जय राधमाधव कुञ्ज विहारी जय राधमाधव कुञ्ज विहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन तीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज विहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा जय ओम विष्णुपाद ब्रह्माम च पद स्तोत्र सदस्य श्रीमद् वेंकटेश भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय इस्कॉन संस्थापक आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद ब्रह्माम च पद स्तोत्र सदस्य श्रीमद् वेंकटेश भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद श्री गौर किशोर दास पाद महाराज की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद सचिव श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति ठाकुर की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्व श्री जगन्नाथ दास पाद महाराज की जय जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास अविनाश गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय नमाचार्य दास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिव साधु गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोविंद श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गोवर्धन की जय श्री मायापुर धाम की जय श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय गंगा माई की यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देव की जय तुलसी देवी की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय ग्रंथ श्रीमद भागवतम की जय इस्कॉन मत हमारा गुरु वंदे की जय समावेद भक्ति वंदे की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द सिंगर ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द सिंगर all glories to the assembly. All glories to the Guru and Shikhar and all those to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamtirhe. अष्टप्रायेषु अपत्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिः. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Friday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are today discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 17, Text 30 and Text 31. Hare Krishna. Just 1 second. 1 second. Text 30. Yena hamatma yatanam vinirmitha धात्रा यतो यम गुणसर्ग संग्रहः सहेव मां हन्तुम् उदायुधः स्वरात् उपष्टितोऽन्यं शरणं कमाश्रये. The planet Earth continued, My dear Lord, you are the complete conductor of the material creation. We have created this cosmic manifestation and the three material qualities, and therefore you have created me, the planet Earth, the resting place of all living entities. Yet you are always fully independent, my Lord. Now that you are present before me and ready to kill me with your weapons, let me know where I should go to take shelter and tell me who can give me protection. The planet Earth herein exhibits the symptoms of full surrender before the Lord. As stated, no one can protect the person whom Krishna is prepared to kill, and no one can kill the person whom Krishna protects. Because the Lord was prepared to kill the planet Earth, there was no one to give protection to her. We are all receiving protection from the Lord, and it is therefore proper that every one of us surrender unto Him. In Bhagavad Gita 1866, the Lord instructs Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishyami Mahasuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, My dear Lord, whatever I have, even my mind, the center of all material necessities, namely my home, my body, and whatever I have in connection with this body, I now surrender unto you. You are now completely independent to act however you like. If you like, you can kill me, and if you like, you can save me. In any case, I am your eternal servant, and we have every right to do whatever you like. Text 31. तदादाव असृजच् चराचरं समाययात्माश्रयया वितर्क्यया तयैव सोऽयं किल गोप्तुम् उद्यतः कथं मां धर्मः परो जिगांसति. Translation Srila Prabhupada. In the beginning of creation, you created all these moving and non-moving living entities by your inconceivable energy. Through this very same energy, you are now prepared to protect the living entities. Indeed, you are the supreme protector of religious principles. Why are you so anxious to kill me, even though I am in the form of a cow? The planet Earth argues that there is no doubt that one who creates can also annihilate by his sweet will. The planet Earth questions why she should be killed when the Lord is prepared to give protection to everyone. After all, it is the earth that is the resting place for all other living entities, and it is the earth that produces grains for them. Om Akyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrijatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Shri Rupam Satvaitam Savadavatam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Patan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karunaslo Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishapanushte Devi Pranamami Haripriye Anchakalpatarubhyascha Kapashnatubhya Vicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Moham Karo Divachalam Pangam Nangeli Deshi Gurum Dinatarma Paramadama Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vishpak. Hare Krishna. So in this today's two verses, we see in the first verse uh, to recollect to the previous verses, we see that Prithu Maharaj was aiming to shoot arrows at Mother Earth because she was not producing grains as per the requirement of the kingdom. So Prithu Maharaj was angry and he was chasing her with his bow and arrow, and he wanted to shoot her with a bow and arrow. So Mother Earth is pleading as to why she should be killed, and why she should not be protected. In the first verse, she says, "My dear Lord, you are the complete conductor of the material creation. You have created this cosmic manifestation and the three material qualities, and therefore you have created me, the planet Earth, the resting place of all living entities. You are fully independent. Now that you are present before me and ready to kill me with your weapons, let me know where I should go to take shelter, and tell me who can give protection." So some of the important points that are mentioned in this verse are: one is the Lord creates, he maintains, and annihilates also. He creates through Brahma, he maintains through Vishnu, and he annihilates the creation through Lord Shiva. Another point that is mentioned is that the earth is the resting place of all the living entities, whether they are animate or inanimate, like mountains, rivers, or animate like living entities. They all are resting in the earth only. Even those in the water, like fish and all the other aquatics, are also resting in the water only, which is also in the earth only. So all the living entities are resting on this planet Earth. Then the Lord created three qualities called sattva. We call it goodness, passion, and ignorance. The sattva guna is represented by Lord Vishnu. The rajas or rajoguna is represented by Lord Brahma, because creation requires a lot of passion. So that is represented by Brahma. And finally, the Tamagunam is represented by Lord Shiva. These are called the Gunavataras. Then the next point that is mentioned here, she mentions is that she says that you have created me, the planet Earth, the resting place. You have created this cosmic manifestation and three material qualities, and therefore you have created me, the planet Earth. So this Earth, planet Earth, is also made up of uh, the five material elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. That's where all the living entities are resting. Then she mentions that the Lord is fully independent. In fact, the Lord is called Swarat. One of the names of the Lord is called Swarat because he is independent. We are all dependent on the Supreme Lord for all our maintenance, etc., for all the resources that we require. But the Lord is independent. He does not depend on any living entity anywhere in any of the planets. He's fully independent. Then she says that you are present before me and ready to kill me. Let me know to whom should I take shelter, and please, who can give me protection. So the earth basically exhibits the symptoms of full surrender before the Lord. In fact, Srila Prabhupada always gives a very popular verse in his classes called Rake Krishna, Mare Ke, Mare Krishna, Rake Ke. The translation is, if Lord Krishna protects a person, no one can kill him. And if Krishna decides to kill someone, no one can protect him. So here, Mother Earth is pleading because Prithu Maharaj, who is also an empowered incarnation of the Lord himself, is planning to kill Mother Earth. So she is asking for protection. So we are all seeking protection from the Lord. Therefore, the Lord Himself concludes the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in 1866, saying that Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Masuchaha, which the translation says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So the point is that we all are bound to surrender to the Lord. That is the purpose of a human life. And one is to abide by that. And when one surrenders to the Lord, then the Lord delivers every living entity from all sinful reactions. And he says that do not fear. The Lord gives an assurance that by surrendering unto me, you will become free from not only all the sinful reactions, and he says, gives an assurance that do not fear. I mean, nobody can give that type of an assurance except the Supreme Lord. Then, of course, Srila Prabhupada gives a reference about one of the songs compiled by one of the acharyas in our Sampradaya called Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. The verse is not mentioned, but of course from Sharanagati, with the translation says, my dear Lord, whatever I have, my mind, the center of all material necessities, namely my home, my body, whatever I have in connection with this body, I surrender everything unto you. You are now completely independent to act whatever you way, however you like. If you like, you can kill me, and if you like, you can save me. In any case, I am your eternal servant, and you have every right to do whatever you like. Now, we must understand what is the importance of this particular verse. Here, basically, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura expresses the mood of a pure devotee. A pure devotee does not ask anything from the Lord, not even for his maintenance. And since he has surrendered himself unto the Lord completely, he leaves it for the Lord. That if the Lord wants to kill, let him kill him. If the Lord wants to keep him, he will keep. Uh, End of the day, a pure devotee is interested in only serving the Lord. So this is the mood of a pure devotee, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura is representing that mood, and that is what Srila Prabhupada quotes. In text number 31, it says, in the beginning, you created all the moving and non-moving living entities by your inconceivable energy. And through this very same energy, you are not required to protect the living entities. You are the supreme protector of religious principles. Then why are you anxious to kill me, even though I am in the form of a cow? So, one point that is mentioned here is that the Lord, whatever he creates or annihilates, he does not do himself directly. He does it through his energies. The Lord has got three energies: internal energy, external energy, and marginal energy. So the material creation is manifested by the external energy of the Lord. So the Lord creates through that external energy and annihilates also through the external energy. Then Mother Earth says, you are the supreme protector of all the religious principles. In fact, the Lord established these religious principles when creation happened, and so that living entities like us can understand these religious principles and act accordingly. Human form of life is meant to live as per religious principles, and these religious principles are established by the Lord and protected by the Lord only. In fact, the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a quote where there's a conversation between the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas. The One of the Yamadutas tell Yamaraj, he says, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam navaid vidur shrayo napi devaha na siddha mukhya asura manushyaha kuto na vidyadhara charanateh. It says that real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although wholly situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings or Vidyadharas or Charnas. The conclusion is that these religious principles are established by the personality of Godhead, and conditioned living entities like us in this planetary system cannot understand, not only in this here planets or any other planetary system, cannot understand the purpose of these religious principles. It's only the Lord who has given these religious principles can understand. Similarly, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Vedescha sarvam ahameva vedyo. That means people read the Vedas, but the ultimate purpose of reading the Vedas is to know the Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If after reading Vedas, if one does not come to that conclusion, the purpose of reading that Vedas is a waste. Another important point that is mentioned here is about the religious principles. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 17th chapter, there's a sloka. The translation says, milking the cow means drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. That means when we milk the cow, we are drawing the principles from the religion in the liquid form. So the great rishis and munis, they would only live on milk. They would not even have grains, but they would survive on milk. In fact, in the first canto itself, there's a mention as to how Srila Sukadeva Goswami would go to a householder while he was making a cow, and he would simply take a little quantity of milk for his sustenance. That's all, and he would leave. So this was the practice even about 50 years ago. Srila Prabhupada mentions that when a sadhu comes to one's house, no one would deprive a sadhu of some milk. They would always give him at least some milk instead of water. So there's mentioned that for personalities who are followers of these Vedic principles, it is the duty of every householder to have cows and bulls as household paraphernalia, not only for drinking milk, but also for deriving religious principles. Like I mentioned, cow is a symbol of religious principles in a liquid form. That means milking the cow means we are drawing the religious principles from the cow. That is why it is said that if one takes, develops attraction for cows, he also becomes a follower of religious principles very shortly. So that is why many times, not many times, even 2 days before, I saw a quote wherein my Guru Maharaj said that if one has taken birth of a cow, that is the last body as a animal. Next in form of life is definitely a human being. So cow is very important. That is why we have to protect the cows also, because if we are not protecting the cows, that means we are depriving the cow of getting a human form of life. This is one important point. Not only that, the cow's calf not only is beautiful to look at, but also gives satisfaction to the cow. And when the calf is satisfied, the cow gives a lot of milk, as much of milk as possible. Then Mother Earth pleads that, why are you so anxious to kill me? I'm in the form of a cow. So what happens is that Mother Earth does not produce grain. And the reason is that atheists have hoarded the grains. Like we see today, many people hoard grains for higher profit. So when Prithu Maharaj approaches and says, why you are not producing grains, he gets angry on her. And at that time, she takes the form of a cow. She tries to run away from Prithu Maharaj. When she tries to run and she sees that Prithu Maharaj is angry, she takes the form of a cow itself. And because she knows that nobody will bring harm to a cow. So now she is saying that, why are you trying to kill me when I'm in the form of a cow? Then the points that I mentioned here is that the earth is also the resting place. Earth produces grains also, and all the living entities are resting on earth. The earth is also known as Dharitri. That means she is the wife of Lord Varahadev. This is mentioned in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, through Dharitri, Varahadev begot a son who became a demon, and he was called as Bhaumasura. And that is because he got the association with the demoniac personalities, and then the Lord himself killed his own son Bhaumasura. So Mother Earth is also known as Dharitri. Now, there are 6 principles for surrender. Is one of the important points. And Srila Sanatana Goswami has mentioned the Haribhakti Vilas, which says that Anukulyasya Sankalpaha Pratikulyasya Varjanam Rakshishyatiti Vishwaso Goptritve Varanam Tata Atmanikshepa Karpanye Satvida Sharanagadihi. So these are the 6 principles of surrender. The 6 principles are accepting those things that are favorable to devotional service, rejection of unfavorable things, reject whatever is not favorable to devotional service. Then third point is one should have a conviction that Krishna will give protection. The fourth is that one should accept Krishna as the only maintainer. No one can uh, uh, maintain the living entities. The fifth principle is that once surrenders everything. And the sixth is humility. In detail, the point is that no one can give protection excepting the Supreme Lord. One should be convinced and should have full faith on that. The devotee always remains in the service of the Lord. And the Lord, being very dear to his devotee, merciful to his devotees, he gives protection at all quarters, at all costs. In the fourth point, one should not think that he can be protected by any other demigod or any other living entity. One can be protected only by the Supreme Lord only. There cannot be any other protector or maintainer. And self-surrender, the fifth point, means that one should dovetail all his activities in the service of the Lord, and he should not have a desires which are independent from the Lord. That is self-surrender means. That means one is completely dependent on Krishna, and he acts and thinks only the way Krishna thinks. This is what is called self-surrender. And the sixth point, which is very, very important point, is that a devotee is very, very meek and humble. So with one follows, adheres to these 6 principles, automatically it leads one to the full surrender to the Lord. So this is the duty of every human being, for living entity in the human form of life. And we see that in the Srimad Bhagavatam also, there are many, many prayers mentioned. In the first canto, there's a very nice prayer in which Queen Kunti says, "Oh my Lord, you have executed all duties to yourself. Are you leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us now when all the kings are at enmity with us?" That means when Lord Krishna, after the battle of Kurukshetra was over, he installed Maharaj Yudhishthira as the king, and he was leaving for Dwaraka. So at that time, Queen Kunti offers this prayer, saying that we are all fully dependent on you, on your mercy. So how is it that you are leaving us when you are dependent on you, and we don't have anyone else to protect? So this is the mode of a pure, because Queen Kunti was a pure devotee of the Lord. The Pandavas are all great devotees of the Lord, and Queen Kunti was no exception. So this is a prayer with which one should develop that mood that we don't have anyone else to protect us excepting the Supreme Lord. Some examples that are given in the Shastras are, for example, Draupadi, when she was being disrobed in the midst of all the Kauravas in the assembly hall by Dushasana, she could not rescue herself. She first tried her level best to protect her own self. She could not. Then she tried to plead with her own husbands, the Pandavas, and they also could not protect her. And finally, when she realized that there is no one to protect her, she lifted both her hands and she surrendered to Krishna, calling out for Krishna. And finally, the Lord, who is the all pervading Paramatma, he entered her sari and gave her protection. The conclusion of this example is that there is no one who can give us protection, no family relatives, no friends, nobody can give protection excepting the Supreme Lord. Another example is the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Bali Maharaj, uh, he conquered all over the kingdom. And then when the demigods were afraid, when the demons were afraid, they approached the demigods, who offer then prayers to Indra, who to Brahma, and Brahma makes arrangement. So when this happened, Bali Maharaj actually, his spiritual master was Shukracharya. So Vamanadev appeared as Brahmana, dwarf Brahmana, and Shukracharya could understand that this dwarf Brahmana is Vamanadev, and he has come to plunder or take away everything what Bali Maharaj has got. So Bali Maharaj told, Shukracharya told Bali Maharaj that you be very careful. Don't give anything to this Brahmana, because he's not a Brahmana, he's a Lord himself who has come as a dwarf Brahmana. But Bali Maharaj recognized that the Supreme Lord, if he himself has come, why should I not give it? So Bali Maharaj actually offered 3 steps of land. There's a long conversation. I'm not going into the details of the conversation. But Bali Maharaj offered, he said, what do you want? How much of land do you want? I can give you 3 steps worth of land. So he did not know how the Lord is very clever. So Lord, with 1 foot, uh, he conquered the lower planetary systems. He expanded himself. And with another feet, he expanded and conquered all the upper planetary systems. So the whole entire planet was conquered by Lord Vamanadev. And there was one more footstep to give. And the Lord asked, I have conquered the entire planetary system with 2 steps. Now I have a 3rd step to be kept. What should I do? What do you have? So Bali Maharaj, at that time, he surrendered fully to Vamanadev, and he said, you place your lotus feet on my head. This was a perfect example of surrender. In fact, this is an example given throughout Srimad Bhagavatam as to how a personality like Bali Maharaj surrendered himself to the Lord. Another example is there where Srila Jiva Goswami mentions in one of his treatises. He gives an example. There was a Brahmana called Vivaksena, and he was roaming around freely in the forest. At that time, in the jungle, there are a lot of tribes and all those things. The tribal chief's son came in front of him, and he said that I'm having a headache. You please do this puja to Lord Shiva. And Vivaksena said that I'm a devotee of Lord Hari. I cannot worship anybody else. Find somebody else to do this worship. The tribal chief then got angry. He threatened that if you don't do the puja, I will kill you. Then the Brahmana was forced to do the puja. But what the Brahmana did was, he made all the arrangements for the puja. He sat down near the Shivalinga and he started saying the mantras for Narsimadev. That means Okram, Viram, Paham, Vishnam, this. He started reciting the mantras for Lord Narsimadev. When this Vishwaksena heard this mantra of Narsimadeva, he got very angry and he took out his sword. When he took out the sword, it is said that at that moment, the Shivalinga split into pieces, and Narsimadev appeared and killed that particular tribal chief. That means that what we must understand is that this Vivaksena was a pure devotee of the Lord. I mean, of course, we should not, we can't imitate what that Vivaksena did, but we must understand that this Brahmana refused to do puja for Lord Shiva, but when he was forced to, he started reciting the mantras for Lord Krishna. And when the tribal chief tried to harm, by killing this Pujari with a sword, Lord Nrsimhadev appeared from that lingam and then he killed the tribal chief. This is one example. Similarly, we find in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that when Jadabharata was being taken by many of these people, band dacoits, and they were offering Jadabharata because he had a bulky body with nice, beautiful muscles. So they wanted to offer somebody as a sacrifice, and when they were trying to just offer him to Durga or Kali for sacrifice, goddess Kali herself came and killed all the dacoits and protected Jadabharata. The point we must understand is that no one can give protection to a living entity excepting Lord Krishna. That's why in the beginning I quoted Rake Krishna Mareke, Mare Krishna Rakeke. Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can protect. And if Krishna wants to save somebody, no one can kill him. In the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is an example like many people commonly believe that they go to so and so demigod seeking protection and so forth. So Srila Prabhupada gives an example as to how anyone who tries to cross over the sea by his own self and try to seek protection from a demigod is like holding the tail of a dog. The point is that if someone holds the tail of a dog which is trying to swim, he will also drown, the dog will also drown. So one should seek shelter only from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. One example is given is that when Srila Prabhupada was traveling to the USA for the first time, when he was already 70 and he was traveling in the Jaladuta, when he got very, very sick, and on top of that, he had a severe heart attack. But Srila Prabhupada had no other shelter other than Lord Shri Krishna. And it is said that Krishna appeared in front of Srila Prabhupada and told him that he is protecting him, and he gave solace to Srila Prabhupada. And then Srila Prabhupada was satisfied. So the point is that if one takes shelter of Krishna, then Krishna automatically takes care of the devotee and he gives protection. So any efforts that one tries to put on his own, it is all in vain. The Pandavas were very fearless because they always took shelter of Krishna and they were protected by the Lord even from the time of their childhood when the Kauravas tried to poison them, kill them, and so forth. Even up to the time that the battle was over, the Lord protected them. And when Ashwatthama sent Brahmastra aimed at the womb of Uttara, mother of Parikshit Maharaj, Ashwatthama thought that he will kill that child in the womb, by which then there won't be any other generation for them, progeny for them in future. But then Uttara called out to Lord Krishna, and she cried out to Krishna in this prayer, which says, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin, Deva Deva Jagatpate, Nanyam Tvat Abhayam Pashe Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. Translation says that. She says, O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. Please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. The point is that Uttara in this point but prays for the Lord because she knew that Abhimanyu was also killed, and there cannot be any other progeny. So she wanted that someone continues the dynasty, and this Parikshit Maharaj was the last in the dynasty. So she offered these prayers to Krishna, and Krishna saved by entering her womb and covering her womb by himself. Srila Prabhupada always quotes some very important slokas from Mukunda Mala Stotra, which is given by one of the great Alvars called King Kulasekara. And it is said that he was sleeping one time in a palace when he had a brilliant and distinct vision of Lord Krishna. When he saw that, he immediately fell into trance, and the musicians and others came to wake him up. But then he was fully in trance. But after he came out of his trance, it is described that he was no longer interested in ruling the kingdom. He rather wanted to give all his responsibilities to his ministers and dedicated himself to rendering devotion service. So thereafter, it is said that he left the throne and went to Srirangam. You all know where Srirangam is, where Lord Ranganatha is principal deity is there. And he remained in the association of Lord Ranganatha and his exalted devotees. So at Srirangam, King Kulasekara composed many nice works which came in the form of Mukunda Mala Stotra, in which there are some very nice verses. I will translate two verses. And he also composed some 105 Tamil verses, which were later incorporated in Tiruvai under the title of Perumal Tirumoli. I will translate two verses which very nicely, which Prabhupada quotes in his lectures. He says, the people in this vast ocean of birth and death are being blown about by the winds of material dualities. That means this material world is full of dualities, cold and hot, summer and winter, happiness and distress, and so forth. Then he says, as they flounder in the perilous waters of of sense indulgence, with no boat to help them, they are sorely distressed by the need to protect their sons, daughters, and wives. Only the boat that is Lord Vishnu can save them. That means in this prayer, he says that this whole world is of material dualities. In these dualities, with no one to help, people are trying to give their best possible protection to their families in the form of wives, daughters, and sons. But the only one who can give protection is Lord Vishnu. This is one verse. And there is one more verse. He says, O young cowherd boy, O ocean of mercy, O husband of Lakshmi, the ocean's daughter, O killer of Kamsa, O merciful benefactor of Gajendra, O Madhava, O younger brother of Rama, O spiritual master of the three worlds, O lotus-eyed lord of the gopis, I know no one greater than you, please protect me. So Kulasekara is glorifying the Lord in various names, like husband of the goddess of fortune, killer of Kamsa, O benefactor of Gajendra, O Madhava. Then he says, O brother of Rama. And finally he says that I know no one other than you who can protect me. That means Kulasekara Alvar was fully surrendered. There's 12 Alvars, out of which King Kulasekara was one. And he composed these very nice verses, which Srila Prabhupada has given in this book called Mukunda Mala Stotra. So here, Mother Earth is pleading to Pitu Maharaj that she is taking shelter of Pitu Maharaj. So she should she should be protected by the king, and she should not be killed. And even otherwise, as per the Shastras, one should protect anyone who has fully surrendered. And we'll see that Mother Earth surrenders to Pitu Maharaj, and thus she's saved. And then the further pastimes happen in the next few verses. We'll discuss all these things. How Pitu Maharaj milks the cow and produces grains of different forms. With this, I conclude the class for the day. If anyone has got any questions, any comments, they can ask me.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danda Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danda Pranam.
Thanks for a wonderful class, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, normally question that Krishna was with Pandavas, with Draupadi, and the whole Pandava family. Still,
Yes.
they have to suffer so much. Why
Yes.
is that? In spite of Krishna being with them, throughout their life, they have to suffer. So, how to answer that, Prabhuji? Please, can.
There are 2 points. One is that Krishna wanted to show that material world is means full of difficulty only, which is true. And the second thing is that the Lord also showed that in spite of the fact that they went through all the difficulties, he always gave shelter to them right from their birth all the way up to the time Krishna wound up his pastimes. In fact, the first canto itself, it says that how Arjuna had lot of powers because Krishna was present before him. But as soon as Krishna wound up his pastime, the powers which Arjuna had, he could not those powers were already taken away by Krishna from Arjuna, because Krishna felt that they are not required anymore. So Krishna empowered all, he gave troubles, he put them into a lot of difficulties. At the same time, he empowered them also to come out by protecting them at all point of time. And at the same time, when he felt that now these powers are not required anymore, in fact, the pastime concludes by mentioning that when Krishna left, there was a set of cowherd men. Arjuna was coming with accompanied by all the queens of Krishna, and he was trying to leave Dwarka. At the time, Arjuna was attacked by a group of cowherd men, and Arjuna tried his level best, but he was defeated. But then that is the time he realized that this is because Krishna has wound up his pastimes. So Krishna left, not only disappeared from this world, but also took away all the powers. So these are two important things. That one thing is that he wanted to show that material world is nothing but distress. In fact, the Pandavas are all associates of the Lord. Some were demigods, some were so eternal, like Arjuna were eternal associates. They appeared only to perform this pastime of Mahabharata. Basically, if you know that all these pastimes are enacted to teach us various lessons. Same thing with Ramayana. The Lord performed this pastime of Ramayana to teach us so many lessons, how a king should be. That's why people today have also called Ramarajya. So in all these itihas or histories, we get so many things to learn. But basically, it is meant for us to apply these things in our day-to-day life.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. I got it.
Thank you.
Only to make us understand that yes, this material world is full of distress.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
And
Yes, Prabhu.
always Krishna was there. If Krishna was not there, they don't have the power to even to win over the Kurukshetra battle at
Yes,
all.
yes.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks. Thanks a
Okay,
lot.
thanks.
Uh, Alex.
Anything else? Any other questions, comments? Take the class as closed. Thank you all very much. Antra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.